Yes? Me? I don't see how my life is pertinent to the investigation. That's a fair point. All right, for the good of the investigation, what do you want to know? That's because I'm half Seolite, or quarter. My father's father was from Seoul. So was my grandmother, but from my mother's side. It's not an interesting topic. It's a part of the world, officer. A geopolitical entity and a geographic...
Seoul is a protectionist, isolationist, pan-Isolary state west of the Insulindian Isola. Actually, it's quite interesting. Some would even say...
You're barking up the wrong tree. I don't speak a word of Seolite. I've never met either one of my grandparents, and I've never been to Seoul. I'm a regular Revacholière.
A point of pride to him.
That's correct.
You feel a slight urge to put the lieutenant down for this, but you can't quite muster enough testosterone.
Are they? They're mostly just cumbersome. No.
Your brain sends the signal to your lips, but they refuse the order. It's like you're locked down.
Something the matter, detective?
What's going on? It's like you're a puppet in his hands. The lieutenant relaxes his eyebrow, and you seem to regain control of yourself.
What do you mean? I have no idea what you're talking.
The lieutenant's conceptualization skills must be rather rudimentary.
I can't say that it does, no. When I need to think...
The lieutenant produces his small blue note. We all have our different mediums.
Good. Let's change the subject. Excuse me? You have a distinctive way of walking. If I were to walk in front of you, we would surely collide. I hope you don't take this the wrong way. It's just a collegial observation. In the 57th, we call it the jamrock. They say it's a scene-clearing technique developed by one of your lieutenants for gathering evidence. It's...
Yes, but containers contain things, shiny things. They're interesting.
I don't know. Containers contain, I guess. I'm making assumptions. We should move on.
The door is closed.
Hello again, officer. How are things? Excuse me? Oh, well, I didn't write it there. Okay.
The tear machine stands in the corner. A sign says, 1 bottle.
Oh, that's the tear machine. It's a machine for tear. You know, you find tear outside, like, you need a bag, I guess. We used to have some, but we gave them all out. Feel free to use it if you find a bag, though. I'm sure there...
You see several packaged raincoats fill a low shelf beneath a display of croissants and juice bottles. The raincoats are transparent, except for the big Fritta slogan on the back. The packages are small, discreet, sloppily stacked, making them easier to take unnoticed. No need to worry about knocking over a display.
What is what? It's a raincoat. If you want to buy one, then it's only 4 real.
Her attention is drawn to the raincoats. Stealing one undetected will now be more difficult.
Welcome to Frit. Feel free to look.
What's that magazine she's reading?
I don't know. Frit? A 7 to 11 grocery store? I think they think that the extra T makes it funkier. It doesn't.
The story goes that normal Fritta with 2 T's, a men's workwear shop in Vredefort, was already taken. So when Fritta Retail Inc. grew,
You mean this? This is Pop Stars. It's got like...
looks like it also has something called Police de la Mode, featured on page 34. This speaks to you. She pops her raspberry-flavored bubblegum, her shoulders tense. She shuffles back, only slightly. Bewilderment and repulsion. The lieutenant frowns at you before turning to the clerk with an apologetic half-smile.
Okay. I'm not really supposed to be chatting to anyone, but a warehouse? I don't know. Maybe. I don't really care what...
She scrunches up her face into an expression of...
Fine. Frit doesn't have a warehouse. Just a little back room here. Okay? I don't really know anything. I mean, I know it's there, but I haven't seen it. Not really. No. I didn't know him at all. I don't know really long. I don't...
No need to worry. It's just standard procedure for us to ask around. If you hear anything, let us know.
Okay. Uh-huh.
A small cabinet on the wall is filled with various medicine bottles, nasal sprays, and their logo is the bloodless rose. Pure white, untouched by harm.
Just ask me if you need anything from St. Baptiste. We don't stock prescription meds, but we do have Nosafed, Duramine, Magnesium, and Hypnogamma. I don't know. Let's see. Nosafed is a nasal spray. Duramine is a really good painkiller. Magnesium is a dietary supplement. Hypnogamma is... I don't really know what Hypnogamma is. I guess it makes you feel less shit. It's recommended to use after lots of partying, studying, or exercise. Uh-huh. St. Baptiste. You know. St. Baptiste Pharmaceuticals. The one that sells meds out of...
She is right. Saint Baptiste, the company, derives its name from Saint Baptiste, the city. Itself so named because that's what it is. A rare case where that really is the full etymological history. A colorful display of cigarettes and alcohol bottles line the shop. The bottles wink at you in the light. The smokes too glitter in their wrapping. There, in that dark green glass, all in vain. The great flowing river of warmth, wine, alcohol, bear the beauty, the truth, the
I'm obliged to inform you that both alcohol and cigarettes damage your health. The pale-aged vodka is special, I guess. It's stored in pale for a couple of years, which makes it super expensive. You know. I mean, I already said it'd hurt you. I don't know what else.
Substances give powerful bonuses to your main stats at the cost of damage to your health or morale. Cigarettes raise your intellect while damaging your health. Alcohol raises physique while damaging your... Use medication, like Nosafed and Magnesium, to counteract the negative effects of substances. Note: consuming substances can have...
No, Frick only sells legal drugs, like the law says.
Scab?
You're hazy on the notion of a scab. Smells like politics, though. Maybe it's got something to do with the flask he reaches for from time to time.
A kind of a worm, content with mere survival. They come, they want to do our job for shittier pay, screwing over both themselves and us. Everybody loses. Beats me. Somewhere in the ground, I think. Gotta be bloody stupid or freaking evil to scab. Or I guess, scared maybe. Personally, I'd rather beg than scab. If the gentleman shouting on the street came begging, maybe they'd have gotten something. We've explained the matters, but they don't listen. This lot would be reasonable and go home if the big guy wasn't riling them up all the time. I was just messing with you. No one's ever seen a cop scab. Imagine, you cops going on a strike, but then another cop comes in and says, let us...
Psst, show him your stolen card. Now has arrived the perfect moment.
Speaking of, what brings the RCM here? To the wild north? Come to see the strife?
The man looks at the colorful piece of plastic.
But that's not you, officer. From back when you were not a cop, but a heavy-set, dark-skinned dock worker named Santiago John? Highly unlikely. I've known John for several years now. Also, you told...
Now you're in a mess. The time hath not arrived. Sorry.
Oh, John's been out drinking himself blind again? He should watch his...
No, it will prove useful still. Believe your thieving fingers.
Oh, is my friend in some sort of trouble? Who knew? You know, serious business. I'm sure the big boss will be glad to tell you. You'll have to ask him first.
He's a chatty guy. Wants to talk about the strike too. Just can't break the command structure and tell you now.
My friend, I respect the right to roam. The open range awaits. I don't operate in that capacity. I'm not a granter of passage.
If it's all so simple, why don't the strikebreakers?
Aye. Walk right past Measurehead? Yeah, the 2.5-meter tall Semini supremacist there. Walk right past him, then press the button to unlock the door, then go past him again, and you enter the arbor through the office. Está. Don't worry, I'm sure it's not completely impossible. For example, or you could convert to a Semini supremacist worldview. Or, maybe it actually is completely impossible. Jean-Luc himself would say the philosophy has proven overly heroic for the scabs to convert to. Not enough intuition. Not yet, no. He's incredibly sure. Murder, huh? That sounds like a lot of hard work. You'd never see me investigating a murder. I don't believe you. Boss Laventoria said the same thing. They tried to get me to be their postman. So fun, so easy, they said. It wasn't. I'm doing much better here at the harbor. Being an honest union man with a lot of free time on his hands.
Lonesome, long way home. Here we go. Home awaits. Walk past Station 41 and through the market, past the Boogie Street spearhead to the other side of the lake, the frozen eye at the center of the district. Then, past the video rental store on the corner. There, at the end of a street lined with pine trees, a small house no larger than a matchbox.
Bastards! We have a right to work! Hold up and stay frosty, everyone. Cops are here.
You here to fuck with us? Beat the honest worker down. We're here
To fight for a cause. Stripes usually have problems with people who have causes. Ha! Couldn't handle us. Cause gives the workers strength, gives them power. Besides, we're not that different. It helps if people see us talking, cops and strikebreakers together. Shows authorities are on. Might be time. Don't let the fat bastards tread on you. Cops tend to side. I don't trust cops, but I can see you understand the right to work! Maybe you should ask them the questions. Like, we have families to feed, you piece of shit.
So do we, Scott.
Honest men and women with rights to work, to be useful, not toys. We came here to help the harbor run smoothly in time of crisis.
I have a question. Why do all these men follow your leadership?
You think they follow because I'm big and loud? No. They follow the rules of the market, the rules of the economy, because they were given a job to do! We were promised work. We'd be in there, working, if the bastards hadn't shut. Main gate's locked. Would take heavy ordnance to bust it open. Could try to get in through the secretary's office. Door's locked. The guards blocking the way to the access panel. And I don't mean the scrawny mess punk either. I mean head measurer. Or whatever he is. Huge Seminese guy standing up there on the overhead passage. Won't let anyone by. The access panel is right behind it. Bad. Standing on a narrow bridge, he's got a strategically advantageous position. And he's I don't know how the Union has a trained killer up there. But that one's no joke. And my men are tired and hungry. They're workers. Why don't you go arrest them instead? I'm sure they've done plenty.
It would be better for the neighborhood if you went home, at least for now, if you can't get in anyway.
No! They will give up eventually. When a bunch of ungrateful, lazy cockroaches can't get their act together, decide to block honest work for other people. Beats me. They mumble nonsense about boardrooms and workers' rights, while we have the right to work!
There's something odd in the way he carries himself. His set of clothing looks vaguely mismatched. His shirt is far too small and an unpleasantly tight fit, while the overalls, held up by a belt, seem to fit a man with much more. He ignores your question, choosing instead to turn to the emaciated workers. Raising both silences the answer. There's something. You've been talking to him for quite a while now. Something is off with this guy. Ask.
What's it to you? Am I a suspect? Done no crimes. I only...
Every once in a while, it's like you can see glimpses of another guy under the guise of this fighter for jobs. He seems...
We're all workers, right? Workers stick together. Came from the eminent domain, in Jamrock. Backgrounds in odd jobs, heavy lifting, cargo hauling, bouncer work. I know the drill. Worked at Territorial. Ring a bell? Uh-huh. It was a long time ago. Have fun. Union shits are on full strike. Don't think they're going to let you through the gates. I know nothing about a murder. Wouldn't put it past these harbor bugs. They'd do anything to stay alive. Right to work! It's shameful. Cops doing nothing. You should bring backup. Open up the gates for us. Blockading gainful employment.
We are not picking a side in this just yet, sir.
Pity. Let us work!
A lorry stuck in the traffic jam. This big, heavy Grad-made machine the windows are clear. They've been recently washed. You can see a lorryman's cabin with personal belongings, stickers, and fumes of heavy fuel oil waft over you, making your eyes sting. The odor mixes with cigarette residue. The driver has adorned his space with a substantial collection of peculiar paraphernalia. Proclamations about honor, strength. A large metal pendant hangs from the rear view mirror. The pendant features a sun crowned with wavy rays. It is the seal of Royalist-era Revachol. The back end of the cabin has a small perch to sleep, large ashtrays. There are several suns and wheels. A book with ragged edges catches your notice. The front cover features a large, muscular man. The title reads, Man from Elysium.
Racist nationalist paraphernalia. Not unusual in this part of town. This is our guy. Likely, yes. This guy's proud of who he is. Drapes it all over his machine.
There he is, in front of Rita, smoking nervously, hoping it's over. wrinkled woman does not greet you. She nods along to something on her radio. The photo, an ambrotype from the turn of the century, as golden as her smile. No response. Wherever this woman is,
Wait. She's just a distracted old woman. Better to leave her alone. Why? I just told you why.
An old monument stands in the middle of the traffic island, pointing toward the sea. It looks as if it's been reassembled piece by piece. A silver plaque on the statue's pedestal reads, "I am Philip III, the Squanderer." The great. As you look up, you notice something about the statue. There are some odd indentations on the king's chestpiece. Something with great kinetic energy seems to have impacted the cuirass, around where the heart is. Someone shot him in the heart. Interesting.
Okay, I can't see it, but I take your word. Well, Martinez is riddled with bullet holes. This place saw a lot of action during the revolution. But the statue is recently renovated, so maybe a joke? Target practice or a political statement? Why not? What this shows us is guns aren't too uncommon here, and people still shoot them.
The king stands high above you, surveying the bay, mute and indifferent to your sighting, even by the standards of the Philippian kings. Old sumptuous Philip was known for, well, he blew through the whole national treasury. His own maladministration foreshadowed the fall of the monarchy. During the anti-centennial, stories have it that he had his bedroom converted into a treasure chamber, where he stored unfathomable wealth. Krugerrands, bars of gold, ornate weaponry, armor, and various chalices. He called it the Sol Aurum. It was obscene. There were whispers he slept on a huge pile of gold-dipped feathers, like some obese dragon, instead of a bed, like a normal person. But wait, you haven't even heard about his fabled cocaine addiction. You see, old Philippe wasn't just good at squandering the national treasury on gold and ceremonial weaponry. He was also a prodigious snorter of nose candy, cocaine. That's what the revolutionaries said 150 years later, right before they emptied out the royal mausoleum beneath the cold waters of the Insulindian Bay. The original was blown apart by communards, then further damaged during the landing of the coalition. Most historians think the coalition's hasty landing may have ultimately saved the statue. Some years ago, a group of liberal, artistically inclined individuals, designers mostly. The statue is supposed to capture the moment it was blown apart, like an instant frozen in time, a rare butterfly trapped in amber, floating on a sea of shit. People in Martinez tend to disagree, as do many prominent art critics and thought leaders. Those critics might have it wrong though. There's more to it than just ironism, but you can't say what precisely. Philip III, the Squanderer, however, with his bronze face up in the air, not that he ever did in life either. A Stars Ryko, one of the finest Zhimsk-made motor carriages ever, and not many people outside of Grad, and Revachol West too,
Estache Raiko KK2. That's a classic model. Never thought I'd see another one repainted after what happened last time.
No, only that the motor carriage is typically baby blue, the colors of Sigismund the Great, an ancient Zemsk ruler. His banners were famously zephyr and white, the colors of the stars Raiko.
That's, well, yes, exactly it, more or less. Except it was a crowd of them. Tore him out. They said it was an honor killing, Hussar style. The James community protested the trial, flying the colors.
Correction. 4,395. The fourth largest public protest of a criminal trial.
Is that so, officer? I'll take you at your word. People we are paid to protect. Let's leave it at that. 4 years for murder in Reunion. The perps were remorseful. Their sorry knocked 8 years off the...
The prisons in the greater Revachol Industrial Harbor are already full. Prisoners are expensive to maintain. The longer the sentence, the larger the cost.
Yes, detective? Okay, I'm not going to honor kill anyone over this. But I've seen it blue and white. It's much better that way.
Body betrays your degeneracy.
Yeah, Measurehead. His body totally betrays his degeneracy.
Are you admiring my morphophysiology? It must be frightening to stand in the shadow of this racial pinnacle. Be calm, Am Sandwich. You are not in danger. That is precisely the negligence that has led you to succumb to Al Ghul. You reek of it. An invisible sword of Al Ghul emerges from your throat. You cannot see it, but others can. It is making the woman in my company. Yes,
He means alcohol.
I doubt it, my microcephalic race servant. Your mouth moves, but the one who speaks is Al Ghul. Occidental haplogroup B4 is done giving up.
Does this remind you of someone? The guy down there?
Look at my craniology. I am the pinnacle of my haplogroup. You gave the world eugenics, electricité. You dominated lesser cultures. Like you will be superseded.
It is, baby, yeah.
There is a button right behind him, just out of reach. It must be the one that opens the door to the harbor.
Enough with this begging. You should leave this. Bring your troops to the Simenine Islands, and to book the walls will be lined with bottles of.
There may be a peaceful solution to this. You could internalize Measurehead's race theory. He would take you as one. The best idea. Ask what kind of races there are first. Classification is...
Do you?
lieutenant looks toward the harbor's electronic door, and then
You are obviously a liberal, Sayolite. A polyculturalist. I can see it from your love of microtechnology and your sartorial choices. There are 3 categories of race. Type A, the heroic races. Type B, the servile races. And the vile sea, those are the Simonese, the Areopagite, and the Occidentals, excluding the Maun, of course. The Maun are riddled with eczema to the point where they find it impossible. A receding genetic pool has led the Maun on reprehensible street parades. In Maun cities like Stadskanal and Vredefort, you know them by the names of their nation states. The Oranese, the Gotwaldians, and the Königsteiners. My people simply call them Maun.
Mahun is a derogative term for first world people of Gotwaldian descent. They do not all have eczema. In some municipalities of Oranje, people do wear shoes made of wood to street parades.
The Maun are proof that you can have too much Occidental racial purity and
Colorful tassels are, let's be honest, not a good sartorial choice for this century.
the Vespertines and Messenians of Vesper and Messina, the ancient Meteorans of Meteo, the other large Mondial civilization, the Mesk, are too yellow overproduction of sebum. Sebum is leaking, as proven by the Maun and the Mesk. Occidental type A is in retrograde. The Semini, the Areopagites are sleek, long-headed. The Simonese are the latter is perfected and adapting. Together they form the Simeno-Areopagite, or Simeopagite. Type B are the unheroic races. Amorph
The Khoikos of Grad, Yugo, Zhimsk, Shest et al. Are what you would call white officer in a suspect description.
Yes. To an untrained eye, the Khoiko appear white and pinkish, like a ham sandwich. But the pinkness is a ratio. The Khoiko, the countless
Wouldn't he be one for ethnostates?
They are microscopic. The Semeno-Areopagite superstate will cover the entire remaining planetary crust, uninterrupted. Its leaders will be the genetic epitome of the Simonese, the Vacholians, halfway between Type A and the Racial Cauldron.
Is it 82,000 years that we've been recording history? You have very little idea of what is happening, but that seems a little off.
The revolution came to Ravachol from Grad, in Zarath-ridden potato carts. It is literally an illness, a prion disease that leaves the parietal and frontal lobe ridden with holes. A soft, sponge-like mass of dementia, hallucination. The revolution is fatal familial insomnia. Enough of Tibet. Tips CF are a museum of failed chimeric experiments and tragic maladaptation. Lesser races like the Mosquito, a grotesque mixture of a Mesk woman and a Seminese man. The Mosquito is born sterile, like a donkey. All they have left is to ride customized motor carriages with it.
It seems unlikely that two human beings produce genetically sterile offspring.
You are right. You have, Misan. Then there is the Simino Koiki Kaimira. Are you? The Koiko, as you know, are very servile, especially when they meet the rich man. Raziel, this will never happen. The Simonese and the Koi, but enough. It is cruel to entertain ourselves with the deformities of Type F, where you understand nothing. To solve the great race enigma, you have to first ask yourself, what is the race enigma? You have not even worded the mystery. You need to internalize what you have heard here today, then return to me. This clarity does not come. I cannot possibly imagine what else we have to discuss, Tibere Vasholian. Your love for disco music? Racists are generally not very good examples of their...
Welcome to Revachol. You hear him yell at a redhead woman visiting the fritter nearby. He must think redheads are immigrants.
I am not like them. I am craniometric perfection. I have taken the trouble...
The drawings are precise and look true to their pseudo-scientific ambitions. One thing, however, it is not entirely free of throwbacks in the phylogenetic tree. His large jaw, for example, could be a trait indicative of...
That atavistic stigmata makes pussy say yeah.
Babe, thanks. But I got this. Racists are generally...
Welcome. He must think...
I am...
The drawings are precise and look true to their pseudo-scientific ambitions. One thing, however, it is not...
You exhibit forward projection of the jaw, indicative of schizophrenia, and it is impossible to see any more of your bone structure. It is covered in the... This leads me to conclude you are not a police officer. You are a common. Your racial heritage is uninteresting. It is the same as all Rivasholians. Your parents and... don't be vulgar. White or not has got little to do with this. Mr. Claire is a man of vision and means. He has the will to confront, but also to serve is noble. It takes discipline. Your petulant individualism has only contributed jam. Individualism. You have gotten these ideas from degenerate. Of course it does. You are a degenerate. I am not surprised you enjoy it so much. This has happened to many of the side products of the inevitable cultural. What you need is to come to terms with extinction and never getting into this harbor.
I think this racist is better than the last. But the next racist...
That will be the...
There always is.
Race is reality.
The man looks at you, silent.
You are not Santiago. Santiago is not you.
What's this? We're getting reports of normal, reasonable, temperate, political opinions somewhere in Martinez. The air suddenly feels calmer, more transparent in a strangely tender way. It's time to become a citizen of the Kingdom of Conscience. It is not a place. It is a moment in time that can only arise in the right circumstance. It is, isn't it? History's greatest catastrophes have been brought up. That's the genius of Dolores Day. She recognized that progress is meaningless if its gains are lost because of instability. Tisk tisk. Just because you live in the present, you may never live to see the Kingdom of Conscience. What rationality? What sang-froid? The kingdom is difficult, partly because humanity will need. It's also post-industrial, post-ideological, and even post-sexual. What you want is immaterial. The tracks are as they have ever been, a bit more worn perhaps. Fortunately, the street sweeper still hasn't noticed their presence. An old call box with a matrix of push buttons lists an off-key melody starts playing after you ring the...
Kuno, please stop calling here. Grown-ups don't have time for your...
She thinks you're the gremlin child. What would he say to this?
Oh, I'm sorry, officer. I thought you were... But the doorbell is broken, and the bookstore shouldn't even be on the list anymore.
A single beep indicates that the line has gone dead. You ring the doorbell, but nothing happens. Nothing happens after you ring the doorbell. They don't want to talk to you. Silence. No one answers your call. You ring the doorbell. What an ominous name for a... All you hear is static, but no one answers the... You wait for a minute or two, but all you get from the call looks like someone has melted half the plastic off with a lighter. You hear static from the intercom speaker. You can almost hear them breathe.
Yes, hello. This is Tricentennial Electric. Have you...
She sounds almost antique, as if her voice... Wait, but what happened to Slipstream SCA? There's no Tricentennial Electrics on the list.
My God.
The lieutenant exchanges.
It's you.
She must be mistaking you for someone else. Who cares that you don't remember her? Just go along with it.
Michelle, just please. Why did you even call? I don't understand. You've been gone for months. I thought you didn't care. Ever since I came to work here, it's been different. As if my mind's been wiped clean.
A spot of static overrides her words. When she speaks again, it sounds...
It's so nice. It's so nice to be able to finally meet again.
She sounds like she's about to cry. She doesn't answer. Silence. The only thing you can hear now is static and waves washing ashore on the bay. Another seagull passes by. It's getting cold, Stan.
It must have been some kind of faulty wiring. We should maybe stop playing with this doorbell. It looks ancient.
You press the number sign on the keypad that terminates the call. 12 name cards on the call box read. Silence. No one's home at 4. Silence. No one's home. Silence. No one answers the doorbell. This button looks new, but someone has
This button looks new. It's probably not connected yet. What do you see?
There he still is, looking right through you with his white eyes. The body below is entirely dedicated to that corpse smell.
Active decay.
He's about to blow!
This trash container is locked. The sliding lid with a well-oiled crack. The lock pops open. Don't. Maybe you shouldn't. Just a feeling. A warning from the smell of rotten food rises to greet you. You see soggy cartons, dirty rags, and organic waste.
We're just in time. This hasn't been emptied for over a week.
You see milk and egg rest with one broken egg in it. Some pasta wrapper. You've done this before. The movements are recorded in your elbows, the methodology in your fingers. A box falls into pieces in your hands. Batiste Soleil cereal. Among the threadbare kitchen towels, something catches your eye. As the legs of the slime-covered jeans begin to... Are these the victim's clothes? The smell is not nearly as bad as the...
Cadaverine odor is faint. If these belong to the deceased, they were removed when he was still in the early stages of decay. Drop them in here, officer. Yes, I think the clothes were taken off to get to that armor he wore, then discarded. They must have stripped guitar-marked blue jeans. Pockets empty, or emptied. He wore them with a belt, too. A white belt. The belt is missing. That's it.
Something slimy catches your eye. A drab, long-sleeved shirt, olive-colored, appears from the...
This is a military-type overgarment. No label or serial number. This is the kind of rib-knit shirt that's worn over light armor.
The rest of the rags are just kitchen variety waste. A yellow old mug.
All right. We should go to Gart again and ask if he knows who put the clothes in the trash. It could be as simple as someone from the hostel cleaning the yard. Or that one. Not really. All we know is the victim's clothes are in the trash. The lid was locked and his establishment had...
The fuck's he on about? Kids? You hear that, Kuno?
See?
The lieutenant nods, then looks back. It's just organic waste, cold and slimy on your hands. Apple and potato peels most. What's this? A blue piece of plastic sticks out from the apple peels. Something larger. A clipboard. A blue plastic clipboard with moist papers hanging from it. They look badly...
Officer, is that your paperwork? It is. Look. The plastic has the RCM street grid on it. You've even got an autopsy form. If you don't mind my asking, how could you have let your paperwork end up in the trash? Well, lucky we found it. You should take stock of what remains, just to be sure some has not made it into the hands of the RCM's adversaries. Organized crime and the like. It would also not hurt to start taking notes on the case. Anyway, where were we?
Some items, such as the ledger you found, are interactable. Go to your inventory.
You pick out a broken mug with an oddly racist depiction of the only in its social sensibility. The container sounds a muffled gong.
That's one thing off the list. I think we got it all.
Hey, so we've been monitoring you internally, and now we know your Copo type. Yes, guess what's yours? No, you're the sorry cop. The cop who's sorriest. Let's make it official. Oh, you know, Apocalypse, Superstellar, the advanced interesting cop, liquid shadow cop. But you're too sorry to say those things. So, here we go? No, you don't. Come on. You'll be back to saying sorry in 2 minutes. Stop wasting time. What? Jealous of the sorry cop? They'll be super fine. It'll be totally okay. You can dual Copo type from sorry. Wow. Okay. It's just a racist mug. What's there to read here? Not. Oh boy. Here we go. What are you going to say about a broken, tossed-away mug that you dug out of the garbage? If you want to earn some change by guilting people, go for it. But if... It's the ledger you found in the trash. A pitiful cabbage of white and yellow papers hanging from plastic. There's a piece of toilet paper. Or is it cleaning tissue? No, it's a metaphor. Thank you, waterlogged ledger, for spelling it out for us. They're not exactly white. They're yellowed in patches by sunlight and alcohol, and covered in dense blue. Once in a while, there's a red stamp that exclaims, "Case files commit to paper." The case files themselves. Work, strife, poverty, the Jamrock Quarter. These are handwritten logs of investigations dating back to January 51, this year. It's the middle of March. What do you mean? Is that all?
Huh? 2 complex cases to undertake is a lot, yes. You really have to push yourself. I would not suggest it, lest you stop. 2? That's a lot. I didn't mean to say you are making mistakes, by the way. It's okay. We all make mistakes.
Like a fan of gills, the checkered papers dry in your hand. The handwriting is... Yes, it appears you employ a, shall we say, robust yet literary system. Each investigation has its case number, a title, one might say even. One that draws inspiration from snoop fiction. Yes, all caps. One is called The Next World Mural. Others appear more light-hearted. The guy's on a couch in an unexpected location. It's going to take an effort to piece these case files together, but it can be done. Once you're done inspecting...
You mean the alphanumeric? Officer, precinct, time of arrival at the scene? Oh, you mean the titular? Yes, well, so do I. It's a holdover from the early days of the RCM, right after the revolution, when the organization had little idea how to do things. It persists in an unofficial capacity. Again, in your defense, I seem to have named one the man with the hole in his head. I pray his loved ones never find. Rail spiked through the head. He died. It was a workplace accident.
There is, for precisely one more. 15 pages near the end remain untouched by the damage. Once all the tasks are accomplished, the case is complete. The tasks you've completed flow out of the kind green ape pen in a brash freehand similar to the rest of the letters. Inspect the victim. Interview the cafeteria. It's not exactly poetry, but poetry would be. A satisfying slash sounds across the paper. You're a swashbuckler with that pen, Harry, and it feels good. Things to be done and things already done. The composition of
No, actually. Any ideas? Great. That's great. That's actually what I was thinking. I'm going to start calling it the Hanged Man. It's good we sorted this out.
notebook is annual. It says 51 on what remains of its cover. A molten strap of cardboard. Everything prior to that, you don't exactly close them, so much as distance yourself from the smelly papers. They're a little further from your... Yes, you can piece them together using the alphanumeric code on the margin. It always begins with HDB 41. Then, date of initialization and time of arrival on... Why, yes, your precinct number is... Every last alphanumeric in the files begins with it. And these are your case files. It's safe to say HDB, feeling, isn't really the It takes about half an hour to piece one together, using the system you've devised. Where do you want to start? AKA Leslie and Burke, AKA the public indecency drunk and the property damage drunk, is a cursed case. It has been passed from unsuspected. Leslie will always take his pants off when he's drunk. Burke will always trash everything. It's just what they do. It is their nature. The only way for Leslie to stop flashing his genitals to bypassers and for Burke to stop dismantling signage and rear-view mirrors would be for them to stop drinking. You would think that, but you're wrong. Where's the fun in exposing your genitals or breaking stuff in your own home? No, Leslie and Burke are on the corner of Main Street and Perdition, because that's where the action is. Can you keep yourself off the streets, threatening fines, dragging them to the station, locking them up in the hellholes they live in, locking them up in the station, hypnotherapy, even trying to get the local gang of... It's plain to see from the files that you, Satellite Officer JV, and Special Consultant TH, had more important cases to attend to. Good, you're learning. If the files are to be trusted, that's all there is to it. That and Burke breaking things, and the fact he must have it confused with the property he likes to damage. In the process, the ledger sustains damage. The compartment within, reserved for permeable documents, is jammed shut. You stop your assault on the now unconscious Burke to open it. But, he came at us, and at us. I think he was trying to kill Burko. While trying to kill Burko, you slowly come around, can't get out of his apartment, an invalid. With Burke to tend to, Leslie cuts back on the indecent exposure, which is also why the officer responsible narrowly escapes a disciplinary hearing. The end. Do you want to read another one? This one is relatively easy to reconstruct. Overnight on 1202, a graffito, nay, a mural, cause of failure, rent too high. The mural is enormous. Two silhouettes, a man and a woman, are kissing. True love is possible only in the next world. People call it that thing and that fucking thing. It's visible for miles. The graffito crew is easy to track down. Only the bell lettrers have the literage of industrial paint to cover the surface. One of the graffito artists is rumored to be rich. The case files do not show you finding the author of the crew agrees to clean up after themselves. However, your partner, JV, is against the removal, citing public support for conservation. The 9,000 people subjected to the mural's message, all of Lakeside, Central Jamrock, and Villa Lobos, plus half of the eminent domain, participate in the vote. Although the case a staggering 78% of voters choose to keep it, turns out the opposition were a loud minority, and that love truly is possible in the next world for new people, and it is too late for us. No one cares what you believe in, man with the smelly toilet ledger. What do you want to tackle next, or are we done? Murder. Tum 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 at the hookah parlor was a case originally assigned to an officer called Joe, beaten to death by a throng of Villa Lobos gang members when him and his partner JM, only initials mentioned. Joseph Mills didn't get off the pot. Not yet. He kept at it for a couple of weeks more, racking his brains. No, he was awful. Awful sense of humor, too. The worst jokes you've ever heard. Okay, so the case is handed to you because Mills isn't getting anywhere, and you look into it. Here's the setup. Yeah, really lame. So anyway, young man in his 20s, found with his skull busted. No one enters, no one exits. He's just sucking on his watermelon hookah all morning, all noon. Mills has no idea. Invisible assassin, movie deal gone sour. See? You can't even read the thing without solving it. Yeah, it was that. Turns out hookah does do something. Smoking hookah. Didn't you hear? I don't know. Trying to come up with a move. Not much has changed in the meanwhile. A bunch of sodden papers still sags. Advanced race theory. Everything is calm in the eye of the race storm. Your mind is lucid and bright. The mind-bending phylogenetics appear more distant. Guillaume Le Million. Bad news. Guillaume Le Million did not become a cop. In 1938, he went on a tour to the Sinyao province in Safre, where he died of autoerotic asphyxiation. His body was found.
We should think about calling it a day, maybe. The nights are still miserably cold this time of year. We should take care of that, then. Let's talk to him anyway. An officer of the RCM should...
This door is made of metal and appears to be... No one answers.
We should return tomorrow. Tomorrow at 9 p.m.
No one answers.
We should return tomorrow.
I help you? Thanks. I hope you found what you were looking for. How strange. I certainly didn't put them there. The trash collection service, CS Municipal.
Ah, the elusive CS Municipal. I doubt we'll be able to track down who was sent here last and when. This will have to be one of those. Thank you anyway.
Sylvie had the keys before I got here, and I can vouch for her. I can vouch for all my stuff. Yes? Yes, have you got it? Does that arrangement include you paying me what we already agreed you owe me? What about what I have been through, huh? You're not the god...
Literary demotion. That's the worst.
Good luck trying to use it.
Draconian measures.
All the locks have an electronic component. They have to be unlocked down here with a master key before your guest key. Well, not until you bring me the money.
Okay, I might have something in my motor carriage we can use when you're done here.
Oh, Lieutenant, we're done here.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio.
I have something here we could sell. Look in the back.
Transport enclosure. Regular. The cage at the back of the motor carriage looks rather uncomfortable.
I confiscated this for a little while back. We can take them to the pawn shop down by the Martinez Canal. There are spinner hubcaps, frivolous things you put on your wheels.
Honestly, that sounds like an amazing physics demonstration.
Yes, there's one 100 meters south of here. I think it's called...
Items that can be pawned at Bird's Nest Roy's appear in your inventory under the Items tab. You can pawn these items when talking to Roy.
The lieutenant nods as you take the spinners.
It's not often that I see officers. What can I do for you? I haven't had any problems myself.
Who are your customers?
All kinds of people come through here. Locals, travel. As you can see, I have a wide selection of goods for everyone to choose from. It keeps me entertained.
He's well composed, but underneath it you sense psychedelic processes bubbling. Some kind of drug, maybe. Feeling warm and enthralled by the movement, a drug developed by the military to treat and prevent radiation sickness. It has psychedelic side effects, and it makes your eyes turn yellow.
Why on earth? These are prescription. I can't really see without them. I've had to take it. You know, since the people...
He's taken for mental and emotional, not physical.
A bad idea. Some poor leftist built a particle decay generator in hopes of bringing affordable electricity to underserved
The People's Pile was a Type U particle decay generator that failed immediately after a primitive nuclear reactor, also called a pile. Construction began during the Commune of Revachol. The people, needless to say, things didn't. An emergency valve defect resulted in steam pressure blowing the turbine, taking the fuel containment vessel up in the explosion. Both the faulty design...
There's a reason why everyone's tried to forget any of it ever happened. So much disappointment. No one's. A bunch of poor people built themselves. We were an all-volunteer force. Self-organized. Tried to...
On the patch, gamma radiation lines crossed.
I lived by the river since I was a small boy. There wasn't much the volunteer force could do, however. The cleanup happened 15 years ago. So I came to Martinez. People told me don't go there. It's a shit. I like the theory more than the story.
Yeah, you gotta get in on those vortices, my man.
Yes, we'd like to sell these hubcaps.
Roy takes the hubcaps from the lieutenant, gone forever.
Yes, these are very, very good. Did you
No one was defrauded or jumped, I assure you.
Of course.
Thank you. Here's the 130 real you need for your bill. Do not waste it.
The rest is for him. To compensate.
Anything else you're thinking of selling? Anything else you're thinking of selling? I'm not purchasing any more clothing at the moment. Another time, perhaps. Someone else came here earlier today asking the same question. I promptly sold her the gun you pawned a couple days back.
This is a pawn shop, and it did feel as if you've met before. Oh God. The lieutenant shifts from one foot to another, alert.
You were adamant about getting rid of it, officer. Said you were undeserved, and I don't like keeping guns around the shop for long. Off the charts photo, she didn't seem like a policeman. Although she kept referring to herself as a pig, truth be told.
Right, so let me get this right. You sold your sidearm, issued by the citizens' militia, and now a civilian is running around the streets of Martinez with it? You're right that she could cast aspersions on the force. We have to find her.
My apologies, officer, but...
A needle in a haystack. There is nothing you can do about it.
Of course. Sure thing. Sure, man. I doubt it, but I can try and answer any questions. I do my best to keep my distance from all men.
He doesn't know anything. The pawnbroker's gate. You see rows of toy soldiers guarding the rest of the trinkets displayed on the table. Some on horseback, others in rags, others yet. Why? What's this? A headless man riding a horse? A headless man...
Oh, that's the Headless Phone Rider. The Headless Phone Rider. It's an urban legend. About a man, 50 cents. Bargain priced. I'll throw in the time.
He lost his cap when he lost his head. Perhaps he's looking for the head. Big men on big horses, clad.
Franco-Nigerian knight. I used to be very serious about these guys.
They're not all blue. These figurines also wear gold.
Which ones? Ah, those. Yes, they are. I find the paint.
This set of soldiers isn't meant to look impressive. A few have right.
You're probably talking about the revolutionaries. I think their poverty has been exaggerated for effect. When you place them next to the royalists, it doesn't seem like they could possibly win. I don't like either set very much.
The boomboxes on the shelf look well loved and well traveled. One especially catches your eye. Deep gold and amber. Just make sure it works before you buy it.
Is the Harman Welshie W2, made in Vespa. Absolutely. I've tested each one myself with
That's odd. Why doesn't he like music?
the stuff I record myself. Silverware.
Maybe you should ditch music as well.
If police work means playing tapes, sure. You can use it for that. Or
A typical Martinez streetlight sits among assorted floor. The light pole has been carefully cut, and the wiring. This would make quite a statement in your living room.
yes, officer. As
His manner is casual, but his speech is careful.
it was brought to me to
We are not here to investigate the theft of city property. You have to admit it's rather clever what he's...
700 real. A bargain, I dare say. There's also the matter of rewiring, but the most important transformation is the light's placement among ordinary, indoor.
Wow, a very large red t-shirt with an impressive print. Oh yeah, the print depicts a muscled man striding toward you. A giant sword in it smells like worn cotton, and a worn cotton with a side of flea market.
Sniffing is okay, but please don't try anything on. Can't have you leave. Hell yeah, man. I don't usually carry printed tees, but this one was just pure. I wouldn't go so far as to say that I'm a fan. Most people don't think that the man from Helmdale I mean, even if the man from
Okay.
You sound skeptical. Besides, I've been to Kotla.
It's for the best, because Eamdal is not a real. His theory isn't exactly.
2 real.
That's dirt cheap.
But why? I deal in goods, not services. Welcome to Helmdal.
Can I help you? Yes. Have you got it? Well? Great. Thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. Payment for services rendered. If you continue to stay here, I just ask that you please pay your nightly bill in advance starting tomorrow. The electronic lock to your room has been disabled. Please pay for each night in advance, starting to...
I'll take a room here too.
Of course. Always happy to have officers from the RCM as... Another thing. Great. I love those. Yes?
The door is closed. Still nothing. The lieutenant gives you a quick glance. This is the door to the room.
Just a moment. We should talk about our progress on the investigation.
The air outside is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. He listens to the traffic.
Now then, we should talk about the investigation. But I also feel you're a bit hazy on the RCM. Our role here... I have a cigarette every night when I go over my notes.
Oh man, he looks so devastatingly cool with that cigarette.
I apologize, but I only brought one with me. I have exactly one cigarette every night. Well, yes. It's been a long and eventful day. Well, we didn't even look at the... But we performed a thorough search of the premises of the crime scene. That's great. We're both doing our best under the circumstances. Just don't drink too... We weren't able to find the union leader, Everard Clare, much less interview him. We talked to Joyce Messier, but didn't get any information from her. I have a feeling Joyce knows how dangerous the situation really is. We have to...
If Kim is emphasizing something this much,
Above all, though, today was exhausting. What's with all the running? You run a lot. Is that a standard Precinct 41 practice? It's impressive, especially for a man your age. And in those hills. Nice shoes, by the way. I like the green. Goes with the orange. They're quite limited, actually. The power officers of the Revachol Citizens Militia exercise most frequently is imposing fines of up to 1,000 real for... The RCM's primary role is to ensure safety. We are not really supposed to play any part in the Yes, although indirectly, as citizens can always request records from officers of the RCM have been known. We can arrest people, of course, but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station call slip. It prevents... You can't. Those who don't show up become fugitives, though, and have fewer legal rights. We are permitted to use whatever force we deem necessary, even lethal. Yes, the last time was 4 years.
He has internalized it well. It's just that. A fact.
That's an improbability. Perhaps even impossible. Precinct 41 is known for a higher than average rate of police violence. We don't convict. We arrest and send them to coalition government courts in Couron and La Delta. The prosecution works off our testimonies and records, which is you have to supply compelling evidence for why it was necessary to use lethal. Not a good position to be in, by the way. Internal Affairs handles these cases thoroughly by cross-examining you for it. The coalition government and the RCM was formed by the coalition government to restore order in the international zone after the... Or perhaps it is better to say we were allowed to form. It's a point of contention whether this... Be sentimental if you like. Either way, the Moralinton leases us the right to...
Or if they think you do.
The Moralist International are the world's largest political organization. You know who they are. They have been running this... They're a union of center-left and center-right parties across the Real Belt. Our coalition government is just one of its many projects. Interesting question. It's a blue forget-me-not. Their motto is love.
Something kind and you something almost. Something like the dark blue, serious color of the early night sky above.
The Moralinton are a fact. I try not to have opinions on facts until they change. And do you? We are in what is called the twilight of international law. The laws we claim to enforce come from the MI. Without them, we are simply vigilantes. Spoken like a revolutionary, not a cop. But hypothetical aside, in Martinez we already are vigilantes.
The dying lights of the city shimmer, but an aerostatic passes overhead. The whiskers of its floodlights on the ground.
They really don't like us here. And the mouth on that kid, Kuno. It's our fault for leaving this place to the dogs, to the Union, to the... We run this city. West of the river is our... It's incredibly hard. Human beings are... Me too. But I wouldn't count on any drastic change.
He is very tired, but the dark circles under his eyes make him look younger.
Yeah, it's getting very cold now. Let's go.
The bed is cold and not particularly inviting. The sheets feel at once coarse and clammy against your skin. The bed sags beneath your weight as you stretch out and finally close. And then sleep. And then sleep doesn't come. Obviously, you're in bed with your eye. Maybe it's the bed's fault. Its synthetic filling has separated into hard lumps. The pit smells of alcohol and sweat. It barely covers your toes, stretching over your soft belly. This is your body here, intimate and warm, breathing. A bit tense in the muscles, it's a little better. Colors, scenes, and half-formed phrases still litter your mind. But something to do with, what was it that the lieutenant said? Union, your breathing steadies. A great silence washes over you until your eyelids twitch in your sleep and images.
Do you remember the scent of your childhood? You're not kidding anyone, Harry. You don't remember shit. Do you remember your wife's hand on your face? You know who I am. I'm the bad day. The one where you ask her, and then later in the streets, reality will turn into a grotesque nightmare. This will be the last thing you did to her. Do you remember the warmth of her thighs, between her legs and in her mouth? Oh no, funky baby, you stayed. It was the rest of it that left. Tell me, where are your friends? Human beings have... No, it's gone. Free time. You found Elysium. Everything. The pay. You really dropped the ball, Harry. No, you haven't. You're just sleep talking. And the act is you'll be back in those cold snakeskins in no time. Stinky boy. You're not coming back from shit. Thrashing around in that hot. Your mind is what now? I can't hear you.
So something is wrong. Sleep shouldn't be this bad, this dry, this unnourishing. There's something wrong. Oh yes, party boy, and it's worse than the one before. Just think of the shit you saw. Time to go to work in the shit factory.
Good going, buddy. Yes, wait till you see the one with the chick in it. It's gonna be a good one. You mean, why are you so tired? Too tired and down to even think? It is worrying, isn't it? It's just that your heart has finally pumped all the speed out of your system. You're too weak to say no now. Waking up is the worst part. Maybe somewhere down the line you could decline. Of course, Martinez is Speed Central. You and Speed will be happy again. You will make her come home. This time. A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face, adorned with the expression. The faucet is quite terribly mangled, but you handle the chain cutters deftly, applying just enough. Told you that you needed those chain cutters. The mirror begins to clear slowly without you having to wipe it. The door is closed. This door can only be opened with a key or from the inside. Still nothing. Still nothing. Still nothing.
Morning. Looks like we can get to work at once. The union muscle turned up. They look rowdy. We should talk to them. I mean ungovernable. Martinez isn't exactly enthusiastic about the RCM being here. Men who drink beer for breakfast? There's talk of an armed wing of the union called the Hardy Boys, who are I completely forgot. Sorry, I had a rough night's sleep. It's them by the looks of it. Loud and nasty, just like one loose thread less to worry about, and one big problem to replace it. That would just escalate tensions. No captain would sign off on it. Solving one. In fact, even the death of 2 detectives might not warrant an all-out war. Everything points to the dock workers' union. The tracks in the map, which may, of course, all be wrong. But we still need to talk to them. One more thing before we do. We don't have to talk to them immediately. We can walk right past them.
Yeah, streetwise. Zoom, but aren't you curious to...
They're in no hurry to leave. They think they own the place.
Just a moment.
She's agitated, judging from the way she...
And there's no public phones nearby?
The closest phone booth is down the coast. Sorry for the...
It's fine, I understand. Thank you anyway. Please don't trouble yourself about me, sweetie. The union office probably has a phone, but I can't really get there. Or to the phone booth down the coast. The manager was vague about it.
Why would he be vague about phone problems? This is...
To let the young woman who's house-sitting for us know that we may be delayed. Morel, my husband, and I was also hoping she'd heard from her.
A little missing persons puzzle might just be the thing to take your mind off the hangover.
That's just it. This isn't like him at all. He always plans his... you have more important things to worry about.
More important than a missing expedition? I don't know. Expeditions often lead to something.
Just some field work, sweetie. Morel is a highly trained scientist, but they should have returned by now. They were just going down the coast across the water lock to set a few traps. He said they'd be back on Monday. What could be? There's a nameless old fishing village nearby, but we've never had any trouble there before. There is a lot of crime around here, isn't there?
I can't say it's the best part of town, but I wouldn't worry too much about the pair.
Some fringe science is exactly what's needed right now. Spice up that vanilla murder investigation.
Are you sure we have time to go chasing after bug hunters just now? I did suggest we play it cool, but...
A sigh. He takes off his...
Well, the man's already been dead more than a week. I suppose a small diversion won't hurt too much.
Oh, thank you, officers. Truly, I'll be right here if you come across any sign of Morel. Oh dear, I'm not sure where to be. Well, his expression is slightly grumpy, but...
You can't go around Revachol feeling grown men's hands. If you want to find her...
Oh, well, he's a bit shorter than you, but with a larger frame.
The lieutenant pulls out his notebook.
One other thing, he'll likely have all kinds of field gear on him, even if he's not out in the reeds. We'll be celebrating our 16th anniversary this autumn. Not the most numerically satisfying anniversary by a dating agency, I'm ashamed to say. We hit it off and...
She's skipping over some important parts. Perhaps you...
I hope I've been useful. Oh, yes. A zoologist.
It's a pseudoscience that attempts to legitimize research in...
That's one opinion, yes.
She's used to playing off such insults casually.
My apologies, ma'am.
It's not a hobby, dear. It's a subfield of zoology. Searching for such species called cryptids is difficult and...
The quality of research at Revacholian universities has been on the decline. But you doubt there was ever a time when cryptozoology was embraced by the academic elite.
Oh my. What happened to the waterlock? Well, whatever the cause, I'm thankful. To both of you.
You're welcome, ma'am.
I hate to ask, but if your investigation takes you to the other side of the coast...
The quest for knowledge.
And if you see him, let him know Lena is waiting for him here at the Whirling. He gets so tangled up in his work that he may not know the waterlock's been repaired. And it's cold out. Oh, you're such a dear. Thank you, sweetie. Oh, sweetie, it's fascinating. But I shouldn't bore you with...
The lieutenant gives you a sideways glance.
Well, it's a...
Ah, yes. Phasmatodia. A diverse group of insects whose bodies...
Where other phasmids imitate sticks or leaves, this one's a living hence its name, the Insulindian phasmid. Perhaps you'll end up...
I knew it. We're gonna be chasing made-up insects with cryptozoology.
It's not made up, officer. It's simply elusive. So much so that most establishment zoology... Well, some teenagers making out in the reeds saw one. They didn't know what it was, of course, but there was a brief article in a local news. Of course, most phasmid sightings turn out to be false alarms, but their description matched the...
Enthusiasm has wiped the worry from her face.
I suppose I have something of a personal connection to the insulin. Not at all. Why else would it... Oh, I doubt it. No one gets into cryptozoology for the money. Yes, it can blend in almost perfectly among the reeds. It's how it stayed hidden. Oh dear. I'm afraid I'm not explaining this very well. It is very Morel can explain it all much better. I wish you could hear him describe it.
The man ponders his cooking utensils and gives you a little nod. Acknowledge. He looks up at you, then looks away. Shrugging is an international sign for, no, I don't know what's behind that door. You see a heavy steel door. The door does not budge.
Let me handle this.
You seem a little different today. Less...
You are far from home, Lieutenant. This isn't a district known for its love of self-proclaimed militiamen.
Not a muscle moves in her face, but her...
You are looking for Titus Hardy, who you think has information on a murder the RCM is investigating. That's Titus. Talk to him, but know this. I'll be keeping an eye on you.
It doesn't matter if you recognize our authority. We will...
She says nothing. Her glare speaks for her.
What you want is of no significance, officer. Don't test you. What are we going to do to you? The Union isn't going to do.
Goddamn right it is.
If anything, it is the RCM who do things to people. Aggressive, you make your living enforcing violence. These people...
So you were spying on us, and now you represent murder
Listen, you moral intern lackeys. You're a mob, enforcing the unlawful privatization of Revachol.
Fuck yeah.
So ask what you came to ask, or get back to your commanders. Get sober, do your job, ask your questions, and get the hell out of Martinez. Obviously, I'm a lawyer, a legal counselor for the Dock Workers Union. I would urge you to consider what you say to my client.
Fuck does Kuno care? The fuck about it? You're testing Kuno. Get lost! Right, pig. This is where Kuno plays with his little wooden choo-choo. Fuck do you want with it? Yeah, Kuno doesn't know shit about that. That shit is beneath Kuno. Listen, listen. Kuno doesn't care if Kuno could hook you up with some sweet rags. Shit like Kuno's wearing. Your size, good price.
You'd have to be blind not to notice the giant white letters FALN running down his trouser leg.
Look, Kuno ain't seen shit lying around, except for that up there. Now you won't perform it?
The lieutenant remains silent, but his expression couldn't...
Pig, these are foul modulars, liquid fit, performance crotch, urban survival shit. Made in me over by... Believe it, you need this shit.
These could drastically improve your chances of survival in the urban wilderness. Coach Physical Instrument endorses these pants. They will also make you into an idiot.
All right, Pico, shit's rolling.
Don't do business with the pig coop.
As you can see, Kuno and C don't trust you. Can't do business without trust. Dunno, Kiptas Gardner used to work there.
Kipt is a pejorative term used to describe people of South Seminese or Erie-Uppergite descent. It used to be a common first name.
Yeah, that's what Kuno said. She couldn't handle the heat, so she took off. Kuno can take it. The fuck does this have to do with the Kuno? Kuno doesn't give a shit who she is. That's just some shit roofing gimps left behind.
He's hiding something.
Pig, if Kuno was hiding something...
But it is not hidden, is it?
Look at that fucking shit! You're trying to get Kuno killed! Fuck does Kuno know? Kuno's not a...
The lieutenant takes a quick...
It's a trap, Kuno! Don't climb it, Kuno!
The fuck? A mug in the trash? Is this about the fucking clothes again? Yeah, Kuno sees where this is going. Kuno's got that fast brain. You say...
I can't hear you, Kuno! Speak louder, Kuno!
Shit, that's tense. Someone's going to the beat-down basement, huh? Mug guy gonna get tied to the radio. Kuno doesn't know who put that shit in there. And if he...
Tell the Kuno who it was. He's curious. He likes putting two and two.
Stop turning into a pig, Kuno! They're trying to get you hooked on the snitching!
Yeah? Get your bacon shit away. Kuno doesn't like to be seen with the popo. Get your shit done and out of Kuno's face. Yeah, whatever. Kuno doesn't give a shit. Yeah? The kingdom of... Yeah, whatever. Kuno doesn't give a shit. Fucking right, pig. Kuno's filling bathtubs with that shit. Kuno's a king. Fuck no, pig. Kuno ain't dealing to the popo.
Belying the act. He's actually telling the truth. Or at least 0.0.
Kuno doesn't...
There he still is, looking right through you with his white eyes. The smell is repulsive. You feel a great force ringing from your until a pool of vomit lies under you. The smell of Commodore Red rises from the pool. Among it, distilled spirit.
It's okay. Happens to everyone. The hangover is clearly making this worse for you. You could use some ammonia to clear your head. There's the fleet nearby. Maybe they have some in their pocket. There's a greenhouse here, and a gardener with a wheelbarrow on the corner of the whirling...
Pretty clever.
Acquiring ammonia will provide a modifier to the white check. Modifiers make checks easier and allow you to retry them.
There, he's still in.
Active decay.
He's about to blow!
An inconspicuous pile of the roofing material, Eternite. Because there's a secret door hidden behind the panels of Eternite. There it is. You see a shabby little door.
What is this then? A tool shed?
Amphetamine. Sweet amphetamine. The lieutenant isn't studying the... There's a good vague way to ask where he stands on drug use. Professionally, I mean.
Perhaps not. This is below our pay grade, detective. See that ladder there? It's probably another way into the industrial harbor. No. Yes? Yes?
Looks like someone left his tarpaulin cloak hanging. When the wind ruffles the cloak, you can most definitely see a white rectangle on its back.
Yes, it's probably yours. It bears the RCM. You could probably make the jump. You look like you've done some track and field in your day. What are we doing? We're awfully... Or it could be that we had just...
The wind is aggressive up here. The lieutenant looks at the enormous crane towering in the distance over the container yard. That machine is a Kvalsund 1020 HK.
Is it? Kvalsund makes a lot of heavy equipment, but I digress. We were focusing on your cloak here. The cloak? I do think it's... Well, it doesn't seem too dangerous.
The cloak looks like a bag of goodies floating in the wind. Who knows what its pockets may hide? Nope, no. That's still too high. What were you You could have died there. Shit.
Hey! What happened? I understand. We can always come back when you are feeling better.
Does Kuno care? Yeah, like a fucking volcano.
You were lucky you didn't die there.
Yeah, Kuno's got some advice for you. What are you? Like 80, right? Maybe...
Perhaps you could compress this negative energy and turn it into some sort of a Kuno-fied non-vom. Always the cynic. Then I have a suggestion.
You found Kuno's secret door to Kuno's secret shack. It was closed, and then what? You fucking there?
He's trying to fuck at you again, Kuno.
Oh, that? Kuno decapitates pigs. That's just a Kuno demo tape. Yeah, Kuno plays on snuff radio, fucks pigs, live, fucks their heads off. That's where Kuno gets his daily hit of electric.
Bet you'd like to ride the lightning too, wouldn't you? You feel tired and old, but you could have that spark.
Of course you fucking can. How do you think Kuno made up? Kuno knows. Kuno and C saw you shit.
That's all there is to it then. Don't be a pansy. Just jump.
It's a vitamin pig. Don't you know anything?
You could use some.
Yeah, it's the mag. You fucking need that.
Oh, don't teach him, Kuno. He's gonna use it against you, Kuno.
You're not getting this, pig. It completely takes away the hangover. It's like you didn't do.
Fuck you, pig. Don't do mag. You're gonna OD and you're gonna fucking die.
Is it? You got pretty fucked. Kuno's surprised you've still got your head after all. Don't sweat it, drunk pig. Kuno will keep your nasty.
He's saying you climbed up there. He probably saw you do it. Yet, that conclusively explains how.
Good call, Pigmeister. Don't come and talk to Kuno about his kingdom. Kuno doesn't fuck.
Hear that? Magnesium. That's what you're lacking. Yes, and it's critical. Look at yourself. You're practically devolving into a... You need to get so magged up. You've probably had 2 heart attacks and a minor stroke already. And the only prescription... Yes, if you want to live, you need to evolve.
Die before I squeal, pig. Stay away from me, pig. I'll die before I squeal, pig. What's this kid shit? Fucking
get the fuck out of here, face.
So it's a girl.
I'll die before I... Murder was the case, was the...
The worn and beaten wooden planks of the bench do not...
We can sit on benches after.
You can revisit the bench if you...
Droplets of rain fall on the white on blue. Police do something important? Something murder-related? There's always... This is a Caprice Canema. With its air-cooled, rear-mounted 12-cylinder compression ignition engine driving the rear, even at a standstill. The unibody, someone has waxed it recently.
You want to take a closer look? Yes. An extraordinary machine.
It's nice and all, but why so modest? Helium headlights would improve the range and quality of the visual field.
Actually, I have a pair at home. Just haven't gotten around to fitting. Maybe. Yes.
And means no. Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? Just a sec. Sylvie, yes. Hello? Oh, great. What else do you need, Detective?
You hear the...
Anything else I can help you with, officer?
10-4, come in.
Wait. Before you say anything stupid, think it through. You're going to be looking at a straitjacket if you tell every...
10-4, sir. I'm not hearing your question.
What? What is it?
He wants to verify the...
But of course, it says Dick Mullins. Hi. Tell him to stop wasting time.
What do you need, sir? Over. Excuse me, sir. Over. Come again, sir. I didn't get that. 10-9. Over. Repeat message. I didn't get that, sir. Over.
What? What is it?
He seems intoxicated and keeps...
Mullins drunk and emotionally aggressive. Wrap it up. Don't indulge in his drunken antics.
That's a negative, sir. I got a 10-12. Visit understood, sir. Over. Roger that. 10-10. Over and out.
The white suede feels your fingers waste no time closing around the handle. Clutch disengaged. You feel an uninterrupted connection to the mechanics. After a while, of course it's only in your head, the smell of freshly treated leather. I'm good. Cheer. At the bottom of the sea. So strange. The machine is not on the bottom of the sea at all. It's right in front of you. Well kept. The handle is pulled back. Somewhere deep inside the drivetrain, in the cabin, you see a set.
Life doesn't need to be. I'll be with you in a moment, officer.
Have you no shame? Whining about...
René.
I'm trying to, but you keep breaking my...
These manly men are playing balls. This is a ball game. That's the spirit. Don't even waste your breath asking about... A couple of indicator lights are missing from this control panel. Loose wires dangle. This panel usually closes the waterlock, turning it into a bridge that lets you cross the canal. But there's a crashed salmon and butter sign. You pull the lever all the way up until the metal clicks. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. A cold... A spring brings the lever back to its original position. You still need to close the waterlock to get across. Wasn't there a sign over there saying functionality will be restored on Wednesday morning?
Good morning to you, officers.
A burly man hangs out by the waterlock, carving up a generous serving of salami with an old hunter's knife. His eyes are fixed on a man's.
I wasn't here to witness it, but those look like tire tracks on that sign. Weird, huh? Then again, plenty of daredevil drivers in Revachol. Too bad it also takes a year and a day to repair anything around here. Especially a waterlock. The rest, it's supposed to operate the waterlock, but as noted, it's all junk. Safety measure. Turns out the panel needs a special key to be reactivated. Wouldn't want any... It'll be restarted on Wednesday morning. You want to do the honors when the time comes? Great! Just drop in on Wednesday if you want to see the waterlock at work. They say the
coast part of the map is inaccessible until the third day.
Well, there's the fishing village, an abandoned fish market, a bizarro... Yeah, not really much else. Just sure thing.
It is salty. It is savory. It is chew.
Want some too, officer?
Why not?
It's the ledger you found. Oh, and the cool piece of toilet paper is stuck to it. In the back, you see thin, translucent copy paper. Some neon, then rip them from the binder and hand. 3. The topmost are misconduct fines. The middle one, you don't have to be an intellectual judge. A dozen pages of thin copy paper, bright red in color. You see the parameters of a deceased human. These are quite sinister in tone. They give a date, all in a print, so a monetary penalized, but they appear. Yes, all that remains now is to fill those forms and hand. The rest of the stinking cellulose is much worse. It's just toilet paper sticking to the back of the plastic clipboard. You can take it off if you want. Still wet, the toilet paper peels off the plastic easily. All you have to do is shake it off with your An aluminium block runs the width of the board, biting down on the paperwork. Its crocodile teeth are the only thing. The surface is interrupted by a silvery sticker. Its rectangle looks like an official mark, made to be low visible.
What? That thing. It's a halogen watermark. We use it for adding information to RCM property. It depends. Aside from an anti-counterfeiting stamp, mine has my station.
Maybe yours will have how many cases you've solved.
Any capable light with the right wavelength will do. All RCM vehicles have headlights designed to reveal halogen watermarks. Mine.
This means you can read the watermarks if you just turn the...
Okay.
While a bunch of sodden papers sag from the clipboard in your... It's made of dark blue plastic, hard enough to beat someone to submission with. The edges... Something rattles inside, and something small inside. Light, permeables. It's not hidden per se. The compartment is made for permeable materials. The plastic shimmers like lapis lazuli, but it is not see-through. With your hands, you 4-sized pages hang from the clip. Screw. The 2 sides of the board appear slightly misaligned. The slides snap back into place. It should, without resistance or sound, the 2 ticket stubs and a handmade postcard. 2 octopuses are smiling, reaching their tentacles toward each other in the colored pencil drawings. The tickets permit access to the zoo in Revachol East. Thin wax paper has been glued to a piece of cardboard. Sounds like leaves. It smells of chewing gum. A touch of cinnamon. The end of summer. Familiar handwriting lines the inside of a young woman in her 20s. There is care, effort. Harry, it begins. You're already reading. I wanted to write you a letter. Your hand shakes, holding the card. Every morning when I step out, and every step I take, it grows. By the time I reach the fuel station, it has filled me entirely. I step onto the light rail and look back. You. Every step I take will get lighter. It almost makes me run. Sometimes I do. I can't believe kisses. You feel the air sucked out of your lungs and the blood sucked out of your head. Sparks fall like snow from the boat. You feel the ledger slip from your hand. No, hold on. To what?
Detective, is everything all right?
There is nothing.